My name is Rag Reynolds and welcome back to Medium Rare, and today we are talking yet again about Onision, and specifically we're talking about these Onision grooming accusations. Now I spoke about this back in January when this was last brought up. Ayla back in January, who is Billy's friend, who was Onision's ex, she brought out some accusations against Onision, claiming that he was grooming Sarah, who was a young girl who was living with him that was friends with his wife Laineybot, who now goes by the name Kai. Now I do want to say that everything I speak about in this video is alleged. There is no 100% proof. It comes down to whether or not you believe what Sarah is saying. Personally, I do believe what Sarah is saying. I don't think she has any real reason to lie. I have spoken to Sarah years ago in the past, and I thought she always seemed very honest. I thought she seemed like a nice girl. So I believe Sarah personally, and there were things that were shown and clips that were brought up back in January that do insinuate that this could have happened at some point in the future. Now, what has happened, you may be asking? Well, we're going to get to that in a second, but finally I just want to again say there are a lot of YouTubers who are refusing to talk about this, people such as Repzion and Mike and Actor, people who usually jump on the Onision hate wagon at any point. These people are refusing to touch this subject at this point because they do not believe there's any proof out there. Personally, I think it's important that we do get this out there because I think it is a very real issue. I think it is something that is very concerning, and I think it's also important to let people make their own minds up. Anyway, I'm going to explain to you everything that's been going on. So first off, just for a little bit of a recap, back in January at the start of this year when Ayla came out with those accusations, there was a lot of drama going on because of that. Both Kai and Onision were very upset. They'd done their own live streams in response to it. Kai did a live stream in which she tried to claim that the allegation that she had cuddled with Sarah was absolute nonsense. Meanwhile, there was footage that surfaced of Kai cuddling with Sarah in bed, so it seemed as though Kai was lying about that.
Said that something has happened with her, or I did something with her, or I cuddled in bed with her, that none of that has ever happened. Never.
Like, go to sleep. Good night.
Onision also got on his own stream, as I just mentioned, and in his stream he had some very choice words that were very, very concerning to me and a lot of other people. He essentially said that up until that point there had been no romantic or sexual relationship with Sarah, but who knows what the future holds. And to me and a lot of people, that was very, very concerning. That was a red flag.
I think that the Kai's ex and Kai's ex's friend thought that Kai was dating Sarah, so they wanted to like be jealous and weird and lash out, and they were wrong. Because, you know, I'm not talking about what happens in however much time. I don't know what the future holds, but we're not dating Sarah.
A lot of people also pointed out to this clip that I'm about to show you, then they said that it showed the power that Onision held over Sarah. And this clip was essentially Onision walking in on Sarah while Sarah was doing a live stream. And while Sarah was live streaming Billy, who was Onision and Kai's ex, she was in the live stream chat. And apparently Kai was crying about that. Kai didn't want Billy to be in the live stream chat. So Onision comes in and demands that Sarah blocks Billy from the stream, which Sarah then does.
You see the door? Greg's here. Greg's here! Prepare for overexposure. Okay, so I am now here because Lainey's inside crying. And she's crying because Billy showed up. So I just wanted to ask that Billy not be in here. Can you block Billy?
Anyway, fast forward to what's been happening recently. Onision has recently been on social media, on YouTube, basically just saying a lot of crap about mental illness and specifically BPD, which Sarah actually has, and also talking a lot of crap again about weed and people who smoke weed. Now, he did do this back at the Billy situation. He was saying a lot of stuff about weed and people smoking it being criminals and terrible people. But yes, he is doing it yet again, and it also turns out Sarah smokes weed. Anyway, in response to all this, Sarah had been posting a few tweets and also some posts on her Tumblr, so we're going to look at those now. So let me get this straight. People with BPD are crazy and should be avoided. People who smoke weed are losers and they taste nasty when kissing them. And I'm not supposed to get hurt by that. Leave me the F alone, Greg. I remember my first relationship like it was just last month. Oh wait, it was. And then the crazy gets turned up to 100 when Isla, who is Billy's friend, tweeted out this. Onision Sarah, clown face. She then tweeted out this picture of Sarah holding a piece of paper that said clown card, and that's her FaceTiming with Sarah, and she said receipts with a question mark. Sarah then tweeted out, imagine being scared of a 19-year-old girl again. Then she said, all joking aside, I am actually very deeply confused and ashamed by everything that happened. Thankfully, I have the girls supporting me and talking me through things. And then finally, she tweeted out lawyers with 2 question marks. But more importantly, I'm now going to get to the live stream that Sarah did last night. So Sarah did a live stream on YouNow last night where she took questions from the chat and also from people who wanted to guest with her, and we got a lot more information about what has been going on here. So first she is asked whether her and Greg or Kai ever had a relationship sexually before she turned 18, to which Sarah says no.
Okay, so they're asking if you and Kai and Greg ever had a relationship previous to being 18.
You have to be more specific than that.
Like sexual relationship.
No.
Sarah then says that the last time she was in Washington was 4.5 weeks ago.
When did you last visit? That's a good one.
Like 4.5 weeks ago I was there.
Sarah is then asked about a romantic relationship rather than a sexual one, and in response, Sarah says that she cuddled with Kai when she was 16.
They're asking about a romantic relationship now. Like, how long has that been a thing?
Like what age? I was 18. Oh, for kissing. I cuddled with Kai when I was 16.
Sarah is then asked whether Kai or Greg was the one who initiated the relationship with her. Sarah says it was Greg.
They're asking who initiated the relationship. Like, Kai or Greg.
Greg.
Sarah is then asked how long Greg had been trying to get her to sleep with him, and in response she says she does not know how to answer that question.
They're saying how long was Greg trying to get you to sleep with him?
I don't know how to answer that.
She's then asked if she was interested in Kai when she first started going around to their house, and she says yes she was.
Were you interested in Kai when you started coming around? Yep.
Sarah is then asked, and probably one of the more important snippets that I'm about to show you, she's asked why now she is choosing to speak out, what has made her break her loyalty to Onision and Kai, and she says it's because she is being accused of raping them, allegedly. Apparently they're saying that she raped them. She also goes on later to say that Onision is claiming that she blackmailed them into having sex with them, and that's why she's calling it rape, but we'll get to that a bit later.
Why are you exposing them now? Because this is bullshit, and I'm getting harassed and told that I raped them.
Oh my god.
Literally, that is in case he ever decides to come out about it.
He's gonna try to Me Too you.
That's what he's saying to me. He's saying that I raped them.
Now this next clip is one of the more important parts, because this clip, it's discussing the legal guardianship. So there's been a lot of talk as to whether Kai or Onision were Sarah's legal guardians or not. That's been a subject of debate for quite a while. There have been conflicting statements made on both sides about that in the past. Now in this clip I'm about to show you, Sarah says that Kai specifically had power of attorney over her, which meant essentially she was kind of her guardian. But this extra added layer of whether they were her guardian or not seems to make it a little bit more wrong in a lot of people's eyes.
They're asking about, like, the legal guardianship thing that was spoken about.
Okay, so basically Kai had power of attorney over me. It was notarized. It was like my mom said it was thing. Kai had like guardianship or something. He was responsible for me basically.
Now the next clip is Sarah explaining why Onision claims that she was blackmailing them. Basically what happened was Onision brought up an NDA, asked her to sign it, and she said, well, if I'm going to be signing an NDA, then I want to have done something with you guys to make it worth signing the NDA for, or else why am I signing it? I don't know anything that I need to be quiet about. She then clarifies that this was a joke, but Greg didn't take it as a joke, and that is why he then said that apparently she blackmailed them into having sex with her, which is why he labelled it as her raping them.
What does he say that you blackmailed him?
So basically the NDA or whatever, like, he brought it up and I was like, I don't really want to do it. And he was like, oh, well, yeah, we're just having everybody sign one. Like, and I was like, okay, well, haha. Well, I want a clause in there that says, like, if I, like, sign, I want something I'm actually signing for. Like, you know, I basically was like, oh, you know, only if we do stuff will I sign the papers. It was a fucking joke!
Sarah then is asked if Kai has contacted her. She says one time, but she didn't answer the call, but she says it could have been Greg because Greg has been known to call people using Kai's phone.
Somebody asked if Kai has contacted you since that.
Called me once. Since what? Since I've been...
They weren't specific.
Yeah.
They just said, has Kai contacted you?
Yeah, one phone call. It might have just been Greg off of Kai's phone, though, because that happens a lot.
Sarah then confirms in one of the more key points here that she was only dating Greg, not Kai.
Also, a lot of people are like asking the dynamic of the relationship. If you were just dating Kai or just dating Greg, or if you were dating both of them, or what the situation was.
Yeah, I was just dating Greg.
Sarah then reinforces that she never kissed or did anything sexual with either of them while under the age of 18.
Did Lainey do more than just make out with you? When did you guys first kiss? And did you kiss Greg when you were underage? So 3 questions in one.
I didn't kiss Greg when I was underage. I didn't kiss either of them when I was underage. As far as, like, I don't know about them other questions. That's a lot.
That's
right
fair.
now.
Yeah. Don't answer anything you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
Sarah's then asked why did she want to be with Greg, I thought you liked Kai, and in response to that, Sarah says she always viewed them as a package sort of deal. She thought that if you get one, you get the other.
Someone asked, did you really even want to be with Greg? I thought that you liked Kai.
I guess simple answer is, like, yeah, I wanted to be with Greg too. It was like, I didn't view them as like a one person, but like sort of like a package.
Sarah's then asked about if Kai tattles if she wants someone kicked out of the house, but Sarah says that everyone tattles if they want people kicked. They tattle about all sorts of things, and Sarah says she was very guilty of that in her time there.
Does Kai tattle if he wants someone to get removed by Greg? Tattle.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, we all did though. Like, I did. I tattled like a motherfucker.
Sarah then says in a very, very important snippet here that they started talking about perhaps pursuing some sort of relationship a month before her 18th birthday.
Somebody said, how long after you turned 18 did y'all pursue a relationship? So, like,
well,
dates
talk of
or
it
whatever.
started like a month before I turned 18.
Sarah then says that Kai was jealous of Sarah and Onision.
Somebody's asking if Kai was jealous about you and Greg, but...
Yeah.
Now this next clip is very important as well, and this kind of shows you the dynamic that Sarah had with Onision and with Kai going into this house. Basically, she says that before she moved in, she was in her car crying, she had tears, and she called up Kai about her situation because she was in such a terrible living situation, and that's when Kai said she would speak to Greg about letting her move in. So I think that's very important to note, and I think it's very important to remember when you connect this to the whole alleged grooming thing, because Sarah was obviously someone who was vulnerable, and she is then taken in by these much older people. Remember, Greg's in his 30s, taken in by these older people, one of them she's a fan of, taken into their house, then around their kids, around their weird relationship with Billy and all that other stuff, and then eventually she enters a relationship with Greg. So I think that's very important to remember.
I basically texted Kai from my car, like, crying one night. I was like, oh my gosh, like, all this stuff's happening. And Kai was like, oh, I'm going to seriously talk to Greg about you living here. It was because of my situation.
Sarah is then asked if Greg was mean to her or not. She says Greg was very nice the first time she met him, but she says after that, when she moved in, he started to become quite mean to her. And then she even says he was very mean to her.
Was he mean to you?
Yeah, no, he was mean to me. Like, the first time I ever met him was in September 2016. He was nice to me that trip. But then after I moved in with them, after the whole thing with Billy happened, and he was mean, very mean.
The next clip is Sarah talking about those accusations that came out from Isla back in January, because essentially what happened is Sarah posted a video in defense of Kai and Onision, saying that essentially nothing had happened and that Isla wasn't telling the truth. And she is now asked in this next clip that I'm about to show you if she was asked to do that by Onision, and essentially she says yeah, Onision pressured her into doing that.
Somebody asked if they forced you to make that video that said nothing happened.
Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting question. Nobody held a gun up to my head because I was here. I was at my house. But yeah, he basically was like calling me and being like, "Oh, I need a statement from you. Like, it would help out Kai, like all this stuff." And I was like, "Okay, well, do you think that's really what Kai wants? Like, I don't know." And yeah, but he was like, he called me and he was like, I think you're misunderstanding. I don't want a statement or whatever. All I want is a video of you stating. And he gave me like a list of things, and he was like, that's like all I want, just like quick to the point, whatever.
The next clip is a bit off topic from the rest of the stuff we've been going over, but Sarah is asked why Onision and Kai changed their legal names. And in response to that, Sarah says it's because they don't want to be Googling their names and having lots of bad things coming up. So they changed their names so that things wouldn't be as bad when you search for them.
Do you know why they changed their legal names? That's come up a lot.
To try and get people to not have like things, to try and like not have things pop up when you search their name.
Now this next clip takes things to a huge new level. This is crazy. Sarah claims that Kai and her spoke romantically, had romantic conversations when Sarah was only 15 years old. She then goes on to say that there was one time where Kai was upset about something to do with Billy, and Greg said to her to try and reassure her, it's okay, we can just wait for Sarah. We can wait for Sarah to be 18.
And I'm just going to throw something out there really quick.
Mm-hmm.
But Kai and I romantically talked when I was 15 years old. Yeah, Kai got upset one night about Billy. Greg reassured him that it would be okay because they could just date me when I was 18. Why don't we just wait for Sarah? Why don't we just wait for Sarah?
Sarah is then asked if Greg supports Kai or Lainey transitioning from female to male. And in response, Sarah says that Greg has made it clear that he would be more comfortable with Kai having top surgery if he still had a pair of boobs around.
Everybody's asking if Greg supports Kai's transition.
So, yeah, basically, I was on the phone with Kai, and Kai was like, oh, not to make you feel bad or anything, or, like, we're just using you for this, but Greg said he would be more comfortable with me getting top surgery if he had a pair of boobs in the picture.
Sarah is then asked if Greg still obsesses over Billy, to which she says yes.
Does he still obsess over Billy? Yes.
Yes.
And now the final clip I'm going to play for you has Sarah saying that when she was 16, she went there and she had a conversation in Onision's basement with him, and she says that she was quite upset because she was kind of maybe jealous looking at Onision, Billy and Kai together, and Onision reassured her by saying it's not a triangle. You mean a lot to Kai. It's more like a square.
When I was 16, I went there for the first time ever in September. They took me down to the basement because I was upset because we were at the movie theater and they were all like cuddling together, and I saw like I was just weirded out. I was hurt, and yeah, and he talked to me and he was like, oh, it's okay, like, you don't have to be, because he saw that I was getting upset and Billy and Kai didn't. He was like, are you going to get upset or whatever? And so he took me back to the house and we talked, and he was like, oh, well, it's not a triangle. You're very important to Kai, like, you're, it's a square. It's not a triangle, it's a square.
Now those are all the clips I'm going to be showing you. I do encourage you to check out the entire stream. It was an hour and 45 minutes long, so it was a long thing, and I definitely couldn't have fit everything into this single video. This video is going to be long enough as it is. There are a bunch of copies of this stream around on YouTube if you just do a quick search. I'm also going to try and link one of them in the description down below for you all to check out. But yeah, overall, if you ask me, this is very, very concerning. Again, this is all alleged. There is no concrete proof. We've not seen any screenshots that confirm there was an actual relationship. But there is evidence to suggest that Onision was open to the relationship. For example, the clip I played for you earlier when he said, who knows what the future holds. He refused to rule out the idea of them having a relationship. So I think that there's definitely evidence that this was a potential thing that was going to happen, and when you pair it, if you believe the Isla accusations that came out in January, then I'm sure you'll definitely believe this, and I certainly do. But hey, these are just my opinions, so make sure you let me know what you think about all of this in those comments down below. Anyway, I'm not sure if we will be hearing from Onision on this subject or not. I think it's certainly possible that we will, but I feel like this is the kind of thing that he doesn't want people to be talking about. This is something that is very sketchy. He doesn't want to be known as a groomer. He certainly doesn't want to be known as a groomer. That's a whole new level for him. And if this is all true, if all of this turns out to be true, it is by far the worst thing he has ever done, if you ask me. I don't think anything that anyone has ever accused him of or that he's ever done comes close to this sort of thing. Anyway, I'm going to end this video now, so again, let me know what you think in those comments down below. Make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe for more commentary, for more news, and until next time, my name is Rag Reynolds, and you are welcome, society.